Most of us don't have this opportunity, or at least we shelter ourselves from this opportunity to fail at whatever cost. Companies do the same thing. There are teams of consensus makers and managers that are overseeing decisions based on market analysis groups and focus groups and whatever. I mean, I don't really speak corporatese, can you tell? But as an independent performing artist, every time I venture onto the stage or even book myself for a gig in a foreign locale, I face that fear of failure head on. And I started my career as a stunt clown with the Daredevil Opera Company, which was at the time a Canadian pyrotechnic clown theater company. And it all added up to my learning that the more at risk you put yourself, the more interested the audience would be. I continued my expression through the theatrical arts and ended up doing more theatrical clowning. And I discovered there the same thing was true, except it became even more true when you put your ego on the line. Because everybody knows what it feels like to have your ego on the line, much more so than being shot out of a cannon. Now I find myself an international performing artist. I write and perform and produce my own shows, my own material worldwide. And I do that with groups, and I do that solo, and I do that in English, which I speak fluently, and I do that in one of 4 other languages, which I speak varying degrees of very badly. And actually, 2 weeks ago, I had a kind of surprise gig in Buenos Aires. And I had 2 days to translate and learn and memorize 4 of my acts in Spanish, in Argentine Spanish at that, which I do not speak. So you can imagine it. I was just drilling my mind, and the little perfectionist that is at work. You know, I was a perfectionist. I'm now a recovering perfectionist. I mean, you could say I live in the past perfect tense. I used to think I was perfect. Now I realize I was just tense. So there I was, my little recovering perfectionist mind, really trying to learn all the Spanish and get the accent right and really get the porteño thing and really understand what it was I was up there to do and remember everything I was doing and do it on roller skates. And there I was in the middle of my act, and I completely lost my way. I had no idea what I was saying, what I was supposed to be doing, where I was, and I felt that fear, that failure, that shame of failure just starting to bubble up in me, and I could feel it just echoing out all over the 1,400 crazy, beautiful Argentinians that were surrounded on all sides of me. And I realized there was one way out of this. I said in English, "I don't really speak Spanish, can you tell?" And the laughter that erupted from the audience was not just the relief of my shame, but it was the relief of the shame that everybody was feeling for me. This was enormous. The Germans actually have a word for it. I do quite a bit of work in Germany, and they actually have a word for the shame that you feel for somebody else when they don't feel it. Fremdeschämen, right? He's like,